everyone, this is Mistress Mara, and this month I'm going to be heading up to Oregon to see the eclipse, which is around my birthday. Happy birthday to all the Leos that are out there. And then afterwards I'm going to be going to Burning Man, and I will be out for an entire 3 weeks. So this will be my last video until I come back in September. And it actually coincides with the Burning Man theme this year, which is radical rituals. I find playtime to be very much like a ritual, where I am the priestess, if you will, the person who leads the practitioner who comes to me regularly to receive this release, this outlet, this worship time, this presence that he cannot or she cannot get outside of themselves and by themselves. I feel like 2017 has been a culmination of all of the chaos that's happened this year, previous years, heavy burdens that people have been carrying with them for a long time now. And I am one of them as well. I have my own outlets that I practice, and they are through BDSM as well. Being the facilitator of providing that release is rewarding to me, because later on my play partners will tell me how special I am to them. And it's not using frivolous words like, oh, goddess or queen or mistress. It's a humanity that I see in them that tells me I have never felt this way, or I can't be this way with other people, even my significant others, even my romantic interests, but I can be myself with you. And to me, I am so elated to hear that, because that means that I am doing my job well. Another thing that I wanted to touch upon, which kind of is in conjunction with rituals, are objects. And I'm not talking about like human furniture or people who are going to be humiliated as an object, as a sex object, as a male, as a female, etc. What I'm talking about are actual objects. Like this collar that I am wearing right now, it means absolutely nothing. For me, it means that it is a reflective, decorative piece that goes with the rest of my jewelry. I'm wearing silver. I am in the 50 shades of gray today, but I put that meaning on it. Now, someone who is into BDSM but doesn't really understand what all the aspects of it is, and who just knows the 50 Shades of Grey version of what BDSM and fetishism is, might see me walking down the street and say, oh, that girl is collared. I wonder if she's a submissive. They're giving that object meaning, but they're giving it to themselves, and they're not giving it to me as a person. They are putting that projection onto me without knowing who I am, without understanding the dynamics that I may have with different people. And I've mentioned this before, I've known dominant people to be dominant professionally and then submissive privately and to only one person. And that is totally possible. They may even wear a collar when they are privately with that person that they're serving, but nobody else knows about that. Or it could be the complete opposite, where the person is so proud to be the slave of their mistress. I met a very well-known rope artist, and we were out, and there was a swing dance night at this diner restaurant place, and her slave knelt down shirtless with a collar on, hands behind his back with cuffs on, shorts only, and didn't talk the entire time unless he was spoken to by her. He never looked up at any of us unless she spoke to him and allowed him to respond. And that was their normal. And that was pretty amazing that he was able to take himself out of societal norms and put himself physically in it and still mentally be in that dynamic. That's amazing. I think that kind of relationship should be applauded and not scorned upon or be judged for what it is. Going back to being objects though, rings are passed to each other like a sacred vow, right? It's a representation of a sacred vow during marriage. A collar is the same way. When a submissive is collared for real by a master or a mistress, that collar means that they are owned. and no one else can touch them unless they have that master's consent, and there was a whole other arrangement between all parties. But that symbolism is an object. If you take that person away from that collar and it's just a collar sitting on a table, sitting on a chair, whatever it is, it's just a collar. If you go to a kinky store and see a display, you might fetish it. You might love leather and latex and metal, steel, but it doesn't mean anything to you because you haven't created any memories with it. You haven't put it onto another person or another being to have sentimental value yet. These experiences and the ties, the connections that you have with people are what make that object meaningful. Same thing with a real pet. And I'm not talking about like a person pet. I'm talking about like a dog, a cat, a bird. If they have a collar, if they have a cage, those cages, those collars mean nothing in the beginning, right? Until you stamp a name on them, you put it on the dog, you put it on the cat, it has an address, you know that it has a home now. And then over the years, over time, you develop this bond between you and that being. And then that object, then that is where all the magic is held. You hold the memories into that object. So you put that value onto that. That other being puts value into that object. I just want to bring this up because I've had people comment on dominant fashion before and how, oh, well, she's wearing a collar. That doesn't mean she's really dominant, does it? It's like, okay, dude, there's like fashion and there's protocol. If you really know BDSM, you know which one it is. I mean, some mistresses may even have matching collars to their sub, but the sub is the one on the leash. Then what? You know? It's like matching rings. It's like we're best friends, but not, because the relationship is different. Anyway, these are just some aspects that I wanted to open up and share with you guys. I may go into depth a little more in the future. If you have any other questions or any kind of similar stories or relationships that you've had with objects, with other people, feel free to comment below. Like, subscribe, and follow me on my links, and I'll catch you next time. Be safe, and I'll see you out on the playa and in Oregon if you're going to see the eclipse. Catch you next time.